Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen, Twitter isn't falling apart. I wouldn't be saying this if it wasn't, I wouldn't be saying it so hyperbolically if it wasn't actually so true. Now, if you've been living under a rock, ladies and gentlemen, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, alright, owner of Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, Boring Company, you name it, has been behind the purchase of Twitter for $44 billion. Now, let's be real here. It's not like our buddy Elon really wanted to buy this for the benefit of humanity. He got fucking forced into the deal, okay? Lawsuits, everything kicks you in. And frankly, he had to spend $44 billion, 44 billion buckaroonies to purchase this website. Now, obviously, we all know that Twitter is a website that hemorrhages money at best, and the reason for that is they really don't have a solid game plan in making crazy boatloads of profit. Twitter is the fourth largest, most visited website in the world, but when it comes to making money, it's just not really able to break even. As far as I've been able to see, it's really been profitable in like 2 quarters, period. But ladies and gentlemen, Elon has still purchased it and has turned it into the free speech platform. Now, I want to just go over a few things. Obviously, as we all know, when this purchase happened, apparently there were a few reports of the N-word, alright, the usage of it jumping up 500%. Now, of course, some of this was a 4chan operation, from what it seems like. There were posts on the old Chan boards, and this doesn't surprise me. Obviously, when situations like this happen, there's going to be some bad actors involved, but obviously, I'm sure there were a fair amount of people pushing the limits to see just how base they could be on the internet. Obviously, a big chunk of those accounts, as far as I've seen, have been suspended because guess what? Using racial slurs is against terms of services. And rightfully, they should be removed, okay? If you're going to come in the comment section, but Muna, you should be allowed to be racist on the internet. I don't know. I mean, sure, make your own website and spout all your crazy crap there. We'll see how things work. But ladies and gentlemen, the other big problem was because of a lot of these reports coming out and because Elon is such a polarizing figure, Twitter's advertising division is falling apart. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been following, there is a crap ton of advertising teams leaving out. For instance, one of them is Volkswagen, all right? For those of you who don't know, they own the brands Audi, Lamborghini, Volkswagen, Bentley, Porsche, you name it, some of the highest-end vehicles out there. And of course, a lot of these big firms spend millions of dollars a month just to advertise on Twitter along various other platforms. And when these people start leaving en masse, it's like the adpocalypse on crack cocaine for Twitter. See, YouTube might be able to stave things off, but Twitter is just one company. It's not part of an umbrella like Google or Alphabet or Microsoft. They've got to deal, they have got to deal with some serious problems when it comes to losing advertising. If you look at the financial annual reports of Twitter, one thing that is very obvious is a huge chunk of their revenue comes from advertising. For instance, about 89% as of 2021 is where advertising revenue comes from. If you lose this chunk of the pie, Twitter literally cannot operate. It's gotten to the point where Elon Musk has started firing a crap ton of employees. There were thousands of employees fired, and it was so bad that there were some employees that were called back, apparently even after they had gotten fired. Now, according to Elon, regarding Twitter's reduction in force, unfortunately, there's no choice when the company's losing over $4 million a day. Everyone exited was offered 3 months of severance, which is 50% more than legally required. That I can respect. Already gave them severance pay, and those people can find other jobs, which I'm sure if you had a job at Twitter that was worth something, I'm sure you can find a job in any other equivalent tech company or somewhere out there. But of course, even past that, ladies and gentlemen, what was insane about it was if this is to pass, if all these advertisers are leaving, well, the problem is Twitter, again, might I remind you, may cease to actually turn any form of profit. Right now, it's burning money, okay? And of course, when you factor in all these terminations, possible lawsuits from them, this is going to be a site that's going to cost Elon a lot of fucking money down the road, all right? And especially even right now. So, of course, in order to offset that, our boy Elon created what is one of the most polarizing ideas on the internet. Now, of course, if you don't know, Twitter has verification check marks, blue check marks, that I guess prove that you're better than the average person, or are rather notable in a specific field, whether it be journalism, being a celebrity, you name it, or a big public figure or a politician, so to speak. Now, with the verification system, the reason it was made was that nobody could jump on and start impersonating, like Obama for like you didn't. If you had like 1,000 Obama accounts, the verification check was to point out which one was completely legitimate. Okay, out of the sea of clones. Now, of course, because of the verification system, now on Twitter you can pay $8 and get access to it. So according to the latest iOS update, starting today, we're adding great new features to Twitter Blue. Get Twitter Blue for $8 a month if you sign up now. Blue checkmark, power to the people. Your account will get a blue checkmark just like the celebrities, companies, and politicians you already follow. Now, let's be real here. $8 a month is kind of a steal given the fact that there were some reports of actual Twitter employees selling this exact badge for like $10,000, which is hilarious, okay? $10,000 to $15,000, all right, to people who wanted to get the badge, whether it be Twitter employees or organizations with like spare verifications to sell. Whatever. If you want a blue check mark, you got access to it for $8 a month, all right? Congratulations. There you go. Now, of course, you've also got half the ads, longer videos, priority ranking for quality content. Your content will get priority ranking in replies, mentions, and search. This helps lower the visibility of scams, spam, and bots. Now, that's a little wild to read. All right, let's get a little bit of an Elon video to sort of get the idea of what he actually means by that.
But like it's part of its revenue, part of it is payment authentication. And so if somebody, because there is a huge problem with spam and bots and trolls on Twitter and organizations trying to manipulate public opinion. But if we can get enough verified users, and we're going to prioritize Twitter search, replies, mentions by verified users first.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from what it seems over here is obviously Elon is trying to make up for a bad investment. Let's be real. The $8 a month and why we're pushing it so hard is because this is a $44 billion cash down a hole. And Elon needs to make as much money in the short term as possible. Okay, I'm not paying for somebody's bad investment, but I'm sure there's plenty of users that are going to. Now, from what it sounds like, what he literally just said, okay, I'm not trying to get misinformation here. Basically, if you're verified or payment verified, which is a pretty decent way of verification, all right, some sites do that. Some platforms do payment verification. And by payment verification, he means that, hey, bots can just make new accounts all the time. But of course, you're always going to have those accounts that have like, as long as they have a credit card attached to them or they paid maybe like $1, they're given priority access. I believe games like Team Fortress 2 used to do that just by having you buy like $5 worth of Steam credit and then you could, get access to further features in a game. The point of the matter being is obviously payment verification is going to prove that that person is more legitimate than just some random account made like a week ago. But I think it's wild because for people who have free tiers of accounts, he literally just said if you're not verified or you're not part of the payment network, then you're just going to be shadow banned, which is wild because to me, Twitter, if you set it the right way, you can actually just get updates on the spot from all the people that you follow, which I think is one of the big selling points, right? Like if I follow 10 people, I want to see a chronological list of all of their shit posting. This would just screw up the system to the point where I'm not even interested in using it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, beyond all of this, all right, beyond some of these wild, weird ideas, the idea of free speech is often one that's being tossed about pretty hard when it comes to Elon Musk's Twitter. Now, I have to ask you, for all the free speech warriors out there, isn't free speech more valuable if everyone has to say, regardless of how much money they're pumping into the system or not? Do you really have to pay $8 a month to have complete free speech or be on the same level as everyone else algorithmically? When it comes to free speech, I don't really cry when like a terrorist organization loses access to their social media services or gets banned. It really just feels like that should have happened in the first place. If there's like an actual genuine racist hate group calling for violence and division, they should absolutely, if the company wants to get rid of them, you're not going to see me crying over it, okay? If somebody's actually spreading real, damaging, hateful content on the internet, you're not going to see me cry about it, okay? But obviously, Elon Musk is trying to protect free speech, apparently to him, especially when it comes to the situation. Now, going back to the advertising, they've literally got to the idea of counter-boycotting some of the advertising companies out there. Get your $8 monthly subscription going ASAP so we can make up for the lost revenue now writes one user, to which Elon's like, a thermonuclear name and shame is exactly what'll happen if this continues. Now, I don't think that Twitter Blue is going to attract enough users to offset the advertising revenue loss, just because these payment services like YouTube Premium, Amazon Prime, a lot of this stuff don't usually account for so much of the revenue structure when you compare to like advertising companies all over. I also find it funny that this capitalist guy, Elon Musk, again, I have nothing against capitalism. I am a capitalist myself. When it comes to Elon Musk promoting this kind of stuff, isn't it really the right of the market being the advertisers in this case, to choose if they want to support your company or not, or hold off their advertising until they can see your plans for Twitter down the future? Again, you know, at the end of the day, these are all private companies, and they should all be allowed to choose whatever they want to do. But again, I'm getting all the way ahead of myself right here. Now, after all this, there was a bunch of shenanigans that kicked off on Twitter, where two users, Kathy Griffin and Ethan Klein, decided to impersonate Elon Musk. So, for instance, right here, you saw Kathy Griffin talk about complainers and activists. Want to see real activism? Vote blue. All right, so she pretended to be Elon Musk, literally by copying the same profile picture and the name and the handle, to which then her account got suspended. Now, of course, I want to just straight for the record, something that was hilarious over here was Elon's moment, like, but if she really wants her account back, she can have it for $8. Okay. He's literally selling unbans. It's wild. However, I thought this was funny. Actually, she was suspended for impersonating a comedian. Jesus Christ, this man has no chill. Now, according to the Twitter Terms of Services, basically what is required if you're a parody, commentary, or a fan account, where you can actually, I guess, impersonate other users. To avoid confusing others about an account affiliation, parody, commentary, and fan accounts must distinguish themselves in both the account name and the bio. To which I believe none of these people actually did. Now, to understand, this is a pre-Elon like thing. You could never impersonate anybody. If I just changed my name to like, President Joe Biden and started tweeting some wild shit at people, I would immediately get shut down within like 12 hours of doing that. Okay, impersonation is still a no-no. I don't know if that's necessarily parody or comedy. Impersonation and fraud is just something that's going to get stamped out no matter where you are. Now, of course, you got Ethan Klein over here. Tesla Autopilot is only responsible for 6 accidental deaths. That sounds bad, but when compared to how many people die of car accidents, it's really not that serious. To which obviously Ethan Klein is joking and having a gaffe about the dangers of the Tesla FSD system. Again, I'm not really going to talk about that too much, not really the point. But of course, he said parody, it's in the header and banner. Comedy is back, baby! Parody account. Now, of course, he didn't mention it in the actual handle. They should have had like a big parody written on it if you wanted to get away with it. He did not do that. And because of all this scenario, his account was actually, I believe, to be suspended. I don't know if this is necessarily permanent, but that's a pretty massive ban as far as I've seen. Okay, usually when an account looks like that, it doesn't seem to come back. Now, of course, is this ban justified? Obviously, according to the rules, yes, it is. Obviously, if you impersonate anybody, you're going to get a banning regardless. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to whittle back over here. Obviously, Twitter is going in a bit of a death spiral lately. Do I think it's the end of it? No, not at all. I don't think Twitter is going to die out immediately. It is, again, the 4th most visited site. I will have to say, based on the next few months, or next few weeks, really, whether Elon Musk is still allowed to continue acting like this as its CEO, or if there's going to have to be a board meeting decision telling him to stop talking for a little bit so they can actually restructure and go forward as a company. Obviously, Twitter is a company that burns money, and given the fact that advertisers are apparently looking close to the company and don't want to affiliate with it because they're not comfortable if the shit that they advertise is appearing next to like bad content, which is wild to me because a lot of these advertisers didn't really question it when Twitter literally had a child like a CP problem on their website at all. So again, it's wild to see it all happening now when this matter is so politicized and public at this point. Again, though, ladies and gentlemen, going back to the whole thing, Twitter is going through a lot of growing pains, okay? It's going through a lot of issues at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wild day indeed. I honestly did not expect the last 2 weeks to be so chaotic when it came to one of the largest social media networks of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, Honestly, I think this might be one of the last times I cover this, unless something massive super happens. I feel like I've been talking about this implosion for a fair bit. But yeah, I really wanted to cap it off because a lot of stuff has really happened, and I wanted to make a sufficient summary of everything up until this point. There's been a lot of wild shenanigans, a lot of landmines that have been stepped on, and ladies and gentlemen, frankly, we've covered almost all of them. So if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am